Yes, there was plenty of them. In my 7 years career as a trucker, I have encountered countless what we call lot lizards in the business. Now, first, to those who don't know the lingo of the trucking world, a lot lizard, you know what? I looked up synonyms. Okay. here's some uh here's some nice ways to say what I'm trying to say here. Madame, bod, drab, siren, hussy, minx. These are very 1950s. Doxy, chippy, whore. Oh, well, all right, that's pretty straightforward. Whore, streetwalker, lady of the night, woman of the street, tart, call girl, floozy, temptress, libertine, vamp, jade, doxy, courtesan, madame, hustler, tramp, floozy, flirt, chippy, temple, wench. Wench is my favorite one. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? They would walk around the lot, the parking lots, the truck stops, hence the term lot lizard, because they'd crawl around looking for the next victim. And I don't know what possessed them to do this. I guess they're called ladies of the night, but they would always wake you up somewhere around the deepest part of sleep, around 3, 4 a.m. 2 to 4 a.m. was their favorite time. And they would bang on your door, do, 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 do. And, there's always some stress going on on the truck. So you don't know if it's police. You don't know if there's a truck that's on fire next to you. You kind of have to get out of bed because you never know what the hell's going on. So you're like, you know, put on something real quick. You're like, damn, I'm in trouble. Something bad is happening, right? And it's here's the thing. Here's what you encounter when you open your curtain. Okay, you don't actually encounter a tempter, as one of these said, a temptress. Okay, what you usually encounter is a toothless crackhead, and I'm being crass, I'm being mean, but that's usually what it is. They are not tempting at all. For all you wives of truckers out there, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now I have seen a few times some guys take the bait, get hooked, but I just I don't know, man. I don't know how to what level you have to be. Maybe if you're drunk, and even then, what I've been to a few bars while out on the road, and I never got tempted for any of those girls. Girls, I wouldn't say girls. I would say middle-aged women. I've never seen a young girl do this at the lot. Never, ever, ever, ever. Now, guys used to talk about it back in the 80s and 90s that they were beautiful young women, but they must have never retired and must be the same women from the 80s and the 90s because they're older now and they're just not attractive. So, they'd knock, and usually they would just say, "Hey, you looking for company? Are you alone?" Da, 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 da. And you'd have to just be like, "No, thank you." And then some of them were very persistent. "Come on, baby, blah 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 blah. You're handsome, you're cute." And if you're nice, they'll just try to rope you into a conversation. So me being a nice person, at first I was trying to be like, "No, thank you, no, thank you." But after a couple years on the road, you just become very cold, and you see it and you say, "Go away," and then you go back in and you close the curtain and you don't talk to them. Now, if you're interested in such a thing, there is a code. Okay, there's a way to attract these women. I'm giving out secrets here, fellas and ladies, whatever you're into. But most trucks have a red light on, the dome light. There's a white light and there's a red light so that it doesn't mess with you when you're driving. Say you need to turn on and you need to see something, you turn on a red light. It is normally understood that if you're parked and you have the red light turned on, it means you're open for business to accept, you know, that you're accepting that you're basically inviting a lady of the night, a lot lizard, if you will, and you're saying my truck is open for partying. That's that's usually what that means. Not always. That's not always the case. I gotta admit, as time went on, I noticed less and less. So I don't know if they're cracking down on them or if the culture is just changing. But you could get away with sitting with the red light on. Although I didn't do that much. I would just go in the back. Usually that's where I would chill if I'm parked. Now there's some interesting things going on in places like Nevada, for example, because Nevada has brothels, legal brothels. And if you park close enough to one, let's say there's a truck stop that's within a couple miles, within radio frequency range, you will hear them advertising on the radio. And they'll just keep going over and over, channel 19, that's the trucker channel, and they'll describe what kind of girls are there, what kind of amenities they have set up. I don't think they get into prices. I don't think that's legal, but yeah, they'll just and sometimes they'll talk to people. Sometimes the guys will respond and they'll talk to them back and forth. Um, and sometimes, hell, sometimes the girls that are not even in the brothels, the girls that just walk the lot lizards, sometimes they will also somehow get a hold of a radio and start advertising. I mean, it's really a show to behold. I'm thinking it's their pimps that have radios in their cars, because sometimes you'll see a pimp drive around and pick up one of these girls, and well, you see them get out of the car. Uh, so I think some of them might have radios in their cars, and then they'll use that to advertise. Some of the cities that I've noticed that I've gotten knocked on the most frequently is Memphis. Memphis is number one, I would say, and then Atlanta. And in Atlanta, I've had multiple situations where they don't even wait for you to get in the truck. They just approach you on out in the open in the truck stop. It's like there's no police or nobody watching. I don't know what it is, but they just anybody who's walking around, they just approach you out in the open and try to solicit you that way. So, I mean, it sometimes they're very aggressive and they don't want you to, especially if you're nice. This is the thing, fellas. Okay? Don't be nice. I mean, be a human being, don't be a douche, but just cold cut it off. Just don't respond. There you go. That's the best strategy, okay? You can say no and then just walk. Okay? Don't try to be, courteous and be like, "Oh, no, you because they'll latch on to any freaking thing that you give them. They'll try to pull you into a conversation. Uh, so my advice for young people or anyone going into this is don't talk to them. That'll be it. That'll just be it. Don't talk to them. There aren't any I've never seen an attractive lot lizard, not once. I've never even seen a young lot lizard like under the age of 40. Or maybe the drugs make them look older. I don't know. But um I don't recommend it. I mean, you could walk to you could walk to a bar or something. You're not really supposed to do that while you're parked. But let's say you're doing a 34-hour reset. I would do this a lot on my resets. I would make sure that there's some kind of a tavern nearby, and I would go and hang out with people. If you really want to socialize, and you could have a beer there. Again, you're not really supposed to do that when you're out on the road. As long as you don't bring the beer into the truck. You can bring a girl into the truck, but don't bring beer into the truck. And for the love of God, don't pay for it. All right? You're a trucker. You got to be proud of yourself. You make the good money. You got something more to offer than just your dollars. You got your dignity. So, eh, and then if you see somebody enjoying their time, don't mess with them. There's a saying in the trucking industry, in the trucking community. If the truck is a rockin', don't come a knockin'. And I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Cheers.